What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another second look. Which is to say, I reacted to this tune, I Thank You Elvis, by Fierce Bass on Tinrib Recordings, Tinrib being the label of Captain Tinrib, John Bell. And yeah, ultimately I reacted to this within the first few months of coming over to this channel, but as I've talked about in a number of reactions in the last, year and a half, the first 6-7 months I still was trying to figure out sound levels. The camera video, like the lens of my camera had an issue and it was like getting very grainy and so on. I've since fixed that. I've since learned how to do sound levels better. So this is a tune that I thought would be fair to go back and give another look at, because I think it's a tune worth that treatment. And I noticed the old video, it's only got 2 likes, a handful of views. It was, again, I had like maybe 22 subscribers or something when I had come over to this channel by the time I posted this. Maybe it was a little bit more than that, but the reality is I think it's a really fantastic genre-bending tune, so I felt like we'd come back and listen to it again, this time with better video and audio. And as I said, this is by Fierce Bass. In the moment, I forget who's behind Fierce Bass. I'll look it up in a second. But I Thank You Elvis is, I assume, on this side. But yeah, the tune, it has a really funny sample. Not sure where it comes from, but I've always been highly amused by it. And when I did the reaction the first time, I kind of forgot exactly how the sample plays out. But essentially, the person speaking, who sounds like they're from a European country, maybe even like Eastern European, they say something about Elvis Presley being a pretty good-looking guy. And like, it's just the way he says it is very funny. So yeah, I'll look up who Fierce Bass is, because in the moment, I don't remember, but I think it is multiple people. I think it's like a duo or maybe even a trio. Let us find out. So Fierce Bass, I Thank You Elvis. This is from '97. In a moment. Okay, so it's John Bell. It is Captain Tinrib, but mixed with John Newell. And John Newell, also R.R. Fierce, also Rim and Chop. Unfortunately passed away while on tour in Australia, 2001, aged 36 years. That's crazy. I've seen that name around, but I didn't know that story until just now, so that is unfortunate. R.I.P. to him. But again, shout out to John Bell, one half of Fierce Bass, and again, the guy running the label here. So let's get to it. This is from 1997, a hard house / hard trance tune with both acid and the Hoover sound. And again, hard house, turn of the millennium, the Hoover sound was very common. People will be aware whether it's acid trance or acid techno. I'm hugely fond of acid music from the 90s. And again, there was some hard house around the turn of the millennium that incorporated acid sounds and sort of became this genre. Is it hard house? Is it hard trance? It's kind of both. So this is very much in that vein. And I would say the label Tinrib sort of has that dynamic overall. So here we go, from 1997, Fierce Bass, I Thank You Elvis. 45? We'll try 33. I'm gonna guess 45. No, 33. Now again, because of that really minimal intro, just the kick, you might not use this as a set opening tune. You could, but that kill switch sound. love that. I mean, it's like occasionally you'll get a tune that'll use like a turntable sound on the track. And, you know, that kill switch sound at the end of the measure. I love that. But so far, just sort of driving, right? Like energetic, but not overly elaborate or epic or dissonant. Just sort of. And then
I love all this music. I love all this music.
later on I saw all his movies.
He's a pretty good looking guy, Elvis.
Scattered, fragmented bass line. Like synth line. But it's like deep. Bubbling up from inside these big overruns.
I love all his music, and later on I saw all his movies. I think he's a pretty good looking guy, Elvis.
I heard this tune a few hundred times and I still get goosebumps. That, like, whooping vocal bit, that's very hard house. But the atmosphere here is very hard-trance. My estimation is that it's probably just like, you know, a goofy recording in the studio or something. I this sort of genre, hybrid stuff. A bit hard house, a bit hard trance, a bit acid trance. I forgot about this. It gets very cheeky at the end. Which is again why I think it's maybe just them in the studio.
I love all his music, and later on I saw all his movies. I think he's a pretty good-looking guy, Elvis. I thank you.
So I love how the laughs there are just them being silly, and yet when it comes in that drop with the wicked sonics around it, it sounds a bit more malevolent. But I was going to say, that's sort of the flavor of the tracks I was mixing during the period where I was playing the most parties, which would have been like 2000 to maybe like early '02. I continued to play a few more parties into the next couple of years, but by '03, I think the gigs that, the production companies I was playing for, they just dried up, and then it wasn't until like '09 when I played my next gig, and then I think, in fact, that's not even right, is it? I think it was in the 2010s, that's right. Yeah, because I think it was like the next few years after I stopped playing gigs. I was still buying records, still mixing an occasional set, but I sort of like, my DJ activities were on semi-hiatus. But bottom line, if you had heard me play in the early 2000s, in the, LA, Southern California rave scene, that's the kind of track that I would have been playing. And yeah, again, I love the way it blends some different flavors. I do enjoy the sample, silly as it is. And again, the idea of the Hoover sound, which is what sort of drew me to the hard house world in the first place. Sometimes called the Mentasm sound. There's a track, I think it's by Joey Beltram, but, I think Mentasm was the name, I think it's the name of the track. Either way, that was one of the first tunes to notably use that sound. It later became known as the Hoover sound because it sounds like a vacuum cleaner to many people. But ultimately, Hoovers and acid, the people following those sounds tended to be a bit different, but there were labels and artists and occasional tunes which would blend the two like this, and I was always very fond of those. So shout out to Fierce Bass, shout out to John Bell, aka Captain Tinrib, RIP to Graham Newell. And yeah, ultimately let me know what you think of this. Again, I'm going to occasionally just go back and redo some of the earliest reactions I did on this channel, which are almost all like techno and trance and that kind of stuff, because that was the essence of my old channel. I had just started to branch into like punk rock and some Iron Maiden, I think a very little bit of Depeche Mode. And then I started this new channel, and as I said, I still had a few dozen videos. It was like, well, I'll put those up. So either way, it's cool to go back and do these now that I know there's at least a few people who are exploring my channel for like new music. So when I did it before, it was like, oh, there's a few techno heads online who will find this and, oh, I know that tune. But now it's, the way I go through these reactions is a bit different because I know there's people who are hearing some of these tunes for the first time. So shout out to all of you. Let me know what you think of this. I will see you next time. Peace.